You make your wife feel overwhelmed and doubt your leadership when you do these 3 things. I got these so fucking wrong. And upon reflection, hindsight is 20/20 vision, right? I can now see why my relationship came to almost a complete end from just identifying these 3 things that I always used to do. And what I came to realize now doing what I do in this capacity is I wasn't fucking alone. So many of us have been conditioned to operate this way because in the most senses, we never grow up. There was no initiation, there was no rite of passage, there was nothing moving us from boyhood to manhood. So why would we change? And what we don't realize is on an energetic level, those behaviors that we continue to display ultimately push our wife away. They keep her in a state of fight or flight. They keep her driven by anxiety and in survival mode. So the first one is taking no initiative on leading and planning for the family. Letting your wife run the social calendar, letting her organise all of the kids' activities, making her book the holidays, the breaks away, liaising with all the family members about all the plans, negating any responsibility from you to be involved in those things. Somewhat taking a complete passive look and going, you're capable, you'll be able to do this, I'll leave it to you. When you do this, you are keeping your wife in a very masculine energy. She's got to be logical. She's got to plan. She's got to be strategic. She's got to make sure that the finances are in place to make everything happen. She's then got to think about the travel logistics. Is it petrol and diesel in the car? Is it flights? Are you getting a ferry? Where are you going? Do you need hotels? Do you need more bookings? Is there stopovers? How long's the journey? What do you need for the kids in the car? The questions are exponential in all of the planning side of these trips. And whilst it may seem like a really insignificant thing, when you push this onto your wife, she then cannot rely on you for the smaller planning things. Because if she's got to do the really fucking big ones, she might as well do the small ones as well. Which is why you then get to the point where when you try to do something, your wife steps in and takes over. Because you always do it wrong. You always let her down. She is unaccepting of the mistakes that you make, even if she would make the same ones. Because you push this responsibility onto her. She doesn't fucking want it. She may be more than capable of doing these things. But what you have to understand is energetically you are putting her in a state that you do not like. Not in the moment when she is doing the organising, but what it leads to. The constant reminders that you get it wrong. When you make a mistake on booking something, that you always fuck it up. These are the things that you dislike, and they are a byproduct of leaving your wife to do all the planning, all the organising, and the sorting out for the family. My favourite go-to line was with my wife when it came to date night. If you want to spend more time with me, why don't you organise something? Why are you waiting for me to do it? My wife fucking hated it when I said that. And she's openly told me that many a time. Such a simple phrase, such a simple concept, and yet caused her so much pain and discomfort. Kept her disconnected from me, and then I wondered why our relationship was somewhat drifting apart. Number 2, when you negate responsibility for the involvement with the children. It's not your wife's sole responsibility to raise the kids. It's not your sole responsibility to provide financially. They are your children. It is your household. These are your bloodline. Your direct influence into their growth is needed and necessary. One of the biggest statistics that we see is troubled young boys come from a broken family. And a broken family can include an absent father who is physically present. Raising the kids on her own is not something your wife signed up for. And this prevents her from connecting deeply with you because she feels like a married single mother. She feels like you're just another burden in her life. You've got no active involvement in raising the kids, and yet you get annoyed and triggered by their behavior. And your only role to play is to be the iron fist and authoritative in shutting them down when things get too much. By taking a back seat on raising your children, you push your wife away. She wants a present father to be positively influencing how the kids grow up. She doesn't give a fuck about how much money you make if you're not influencing them positively. One of the things that I learned the hard way was that by spending more time with my children, it brings me deeper in connection to my wife. That extra 30 minutes a day that I could spend with them allows me to connect deeper with her. And I never knew that. I never understood that. And it continued to cause friction and disruption between us until I woke up and smelt the coffee. And I actually started to do something different. And number 3, playing the victim. Always having a bigger problem than your wife. She raises a concern of how stressed and exhausted she is, and then you trump her with, well, don't you understand what I'm going through? Don't you realize how much stress and pressure I'm under? And it's a fucking competition. Your victimhood is bigger than hers. Your problems and your pressure is more unbearable than what she'll ever imagine. She can't trust you when you do this. She can't rely on you when you have this mentality. She's looking to you to provide strength and support when she is upset or in need, and you show her how big a victim you are. You are more concerned with airing your problems and burdening her with them than you are in taking care of her emotional capacity, in making her life easier. And all the while you play the victim, you fuel the discomfort in your life that you say you're unhappy about. You're making matters worse by sitting on this pity potty and projecting it onto her. When does your wife need your leadership most? When she is upset. She does not want to hear that your problems are bigger than hers in the moment that she's expressing them. Because if your problems were that bad, why the fuck did you not say it before? Why are you only saying it now that she has said something? There's no leadership about that. There is no trust to come from that. Your wife now has to step into her masculine and be strong for you because you've just displayed your weakness is weaker than hers. You need her more than she needs you. And you wonder why she don't trust you. So think about this. Think about these 3 components and the dynamic that they are creating in your marriage. Your wife needs you to be strong. She needs you to be present, and she needs you to be able to hold everything together. So the question is, are you willing to do that? Or your victim mentality, is it bigger than hers?